Harrison Lehman Bey walks into court acting like he's above the law, claiming that writing his name in all lowercase letters somehow makes him immune from legal authority. Right from the start, it's clear this is a classic sovereign citizen tactic, an argument that has no basis in real law. But Harrison is confident, convinced that he's found a loophole the court has never seen before. Things get even stranger when he tries to tender a special deposit to pay off his charges. According to him, this mysterious payment could settle everything. The court quickly shuts that down, explaining that there's no secret account, no hidden transaction, and no legal magic that can erase your responsibilities. It's a tactic often seen in sovereign citizen circles, bold, bizarre, and completely ineffective. Despite facing straightforward charges like driving without a valid license, expired license plates, and speeding, Harrison refuses to follow the normal legal process. He ignores the judge's clear options, pre-trial, discussions with the city attorney, or a trial by judge or jury, and keeps repeating the same debunked arguments. Each attempt makes his case look more absurd, highlighting the futility of trying to bend the law with fantasy rules. Judge Perkins remains calm and professional throughout, addressing each claim logically and firmly, while refusing to entertain the nonsense. Eventually, the judge sets the matter for a jury trial, making it clear that reality, not fantasy, will determine the outcome. This courtroom confrontation is a perfect example of why sovereign citizen tactics never work. No special words, no fake deposits, and no clever tricks can override the law. Facts, evidence, and procedure always win. Watching this, it's almost shocking to see how far some will go to ignore reality, but in the end, the law always catches up.
Harrison Lemon, the second. That's the gentleman with the fez hat on, headgear on. Can you unmute yourself, please, sir? Is he connected to audio?
It appears so.
Lemon Bay, Harrison Lemon Bay. Can you hear me, sir?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning to you.
How are you?
Okay. Are you the second or the third?
I'm here on behalf of the third.
The third. Okay. And I guess it's the second as well. This is the city of Detroit versus Harrison Lemon Bay the third. Straight that. This is the state of Michigan versus Harrison Lemon Bay the third. Case number SX 4195968. Counts 1 and counts 3. Appearance for the record, please.
Elwood S. Berry Jr. on behalf of the defendant. State your full name, sir.
Mr. Berry, I think he's representing himself.
Your Honor,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And add count 3 to that. Add count 3 to that record as well. Or count 2 to that, or 1 to that record as well. So count 1, 2, and 3. Let me have that other. I believe, state your name for the record, Mr. Lemon the third.
yes, I am that I am Harrison Lemon Bay, all lowercase letters. And I'm here on behalf of Harrison Lemon the third.
All right. Well, I've never heard of the all lowercase letters. What does that mean?
It means that the name is to be spelled with all lowercase letters, not all capital letters, not part capital and lowercase, strictly all lowercase.
All right. So today is the date and time set for a pre-trial in the matter. How do you want to proceed, sir? I know you filed some documents with the court, and I did have those up in my chambers. But how do you want to proceed?
Your Honor, I'm the surety on behalf of the principal debtor, Strawman Harrison Lamont III. I've given the court notice weeks in advance. I'm here to tender a special deposit to the court and make the clerk fiduciary, the prosecutor, as well. And I'm looking for a plea of release today. Will you grant a plea to release?
No. A pretrial, I can grant you the opportunity to speak with the city attorney, or I can grant you a trial date by judge or by jury.
Yeah. So
what would you like to do, Mr. Lemon Bay?
Well, do you mind if I ask a couple of questions? Just want to make sure that I'm comprehending it. So, as you gave the name, I heard you mention a few different names. I heard you mention Harrison Lamont Bay the third, and then a Harrison Lamont the second, and various different names. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on who or what it is that we're here to discuss, because I don't want to speak on behalf of.
It does have an error. It does have an error. It appears to be an error on the computer here. So entry date, one of the counts was entered into as one count was entered into as Harris Lemon III. The other count was Harris Lemon II, and the other count was entered Harris III Lemon. So I think that's just a typo. There's the nature of the offenses. There's the misdemeanor case is driving around a valid operator's license, no ops on person, and that is a 93-day punishable by the maximum possible penalty, 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines. And you have two civil infractions, one expired plates, and the other one speeding at 16 to 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. So those are the nature of the charges. I'm going to offer you an opportunity to mitigate this by taking the better driver's course, sir. I'm going to put that in the chat if you choose to. And I can give you time to do that. If not, you can set it for a trial date or whatever set it for a trial date or speak with the city attorney today. What would you like to do?
I'm really, again, I'm ultimately I'm here to tender special deposit and settle the charges, make the clerk fiduciary.
By pleading to in taking a plea today, paying the fines, or taking it to trial, see if you can do better at trial. You have a right to a trial by judge or jury, and that's it. Those are your only options, sir.
I'm looking for a plea of release. Are you stating that there's no offer of equity in this matter, Your Honor?
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, we're going to move on. So I don't have time for this.
Would you like to speak to an attorney? Would you like to speak to an attorney, sir?
I don't. I'm not asking for counsel.
Okay. Well, we're gonna pass the matter, and we're gonna move on, and he can just watch and see how it works in here, because I have too many people that are waiting that want to be heard and hear their claim, and I don't understand what you're saying. I've given you your options, and you can sit back and ponder those. I'll give you time to ponder those options. Other than that, sir, I don't know what else to tell you. All right, let's move on. Next time. No, I've already answered the questions I'm going to answer. No, please mute your device, and you either take the offers that I've given you, speak with the attorney, or take the deal, or set the matter for a trial date. Those are your options.
Let me set the matter for trial.
Set the matter for trial. Okay. I'm going to give you a trial. I'm going to do you want trial by judge or jury, sir?
Your Honor, by jury.
Okay, jury trial. Can I get a jury trial date, please? Let's do June the 2nd. June the 2nd. We should do this in the afternoon as well.
Well, we gotta set a pre-trial first.
Yeah, we'll set a pre-trial. We'll set a, so your next court date is gonna be a final pre-trial, sir? Final pre-trial will be, June the 1st, 6/1/2023 at 8:30. If you, and then we'll set the jury trial date for the next day at 9:30 on, June the 2nd. So your next accident date that you need to appear is June the 1st at 8:30. And then, the next day we'll have the jury trial at, June the 2nd, 2023. I have received, your motions. If you have any more motions, make sure they're in before the June the 1st date. And then we'll proceed with, picking a jury, setting a jury panel at 9:30 on June the 2nd. If you don't have any further questions, Mr. Lemon Bay, then have a very good day, sir.
Harrison Lemon Bay walked into the courtroom with an air of confidence, acting as if he was immune to the laws that govern everyone else. From the very start, it was clear that he believed he had discovered loopholes that placed him above legal authority. He began by claiming that the way his name was written, in all lowercase letters, meant that the court had no jurisdiction over him. This is a tactic often promoted in sovereign citizen circles, a belief that a simple stylistic choice in writing can somehow nullify legal responsibility. He spoke with certainty, convinced that this argument would protect him from facing the charges before the judge. The courtroom was tense, but Judge Perkins remained calm, professional, and composed. Harrison's claims, while delivered with confidence, had no legal grounding. The judge listened to every word, clearly familiar with these types of arguments, but made it evident that fantasy cannot override the law. Harrison did not stop there. At one point, he attempted to tender a special deposit, an idea he believed could settle all his legal obligations. In his mind, this mysterious financial maneuver could erase the charges he faced. The courtroom, however, was not impressed by this display. The judge explained that there is no special deposit, no hidden account, and no magical financial transaction that can absolve someone of legal responsibility. It is a tactic often seen among those who follow sovereign citizen ideologies, but it has been rejected by courts countless times. The charges against Harrison were straightforward: driving without a valid operator's license, speeding, and having an expired license plate. Each of these is a clear violation of the law, yet Harrison refused to engage with the reality of his situation. He ignored the judge's clear explanation of the legal options available to him, including pre-trial hearings, consultations with the city attorney, or proceeding to trial before a judge or jury. Instead, he repeated his debunked arguments, doubling down on the belief that personal interpretations of the law could override established legal procedures. As the hearing continued, Harrison's persistence in his sovereign citizen tactics only highlighted their futility. Each attempt to bend the legal system in his favor was met with calm, logical responses from the judge, demonstrating the stark difference between belief and reality. The judge explained the law as it exists, emphasizing that adherence to procedure and respect for the court are essential. No amount of argumentation, no creative wording, and no imagined loophole could alter the fundamental principles of justice. Eventually, with no other options left, Judge Perkins set the case for a jury trial. The pre-trial hearing was scheduled, followed by the jury trial itself. The decision, as the judge made clear, would be determined by evidence, facts, and the law, not by Harrison's creative interpretations or his attempts to manipulate the system. The courtroom, once filled with Harrison's confident assertions, became a clear illustration of why sovereign citizen tactics do not work in real life. Throughout the hearing, Harrison's behavior provided a fascinating contrast between personal belief and legal reality. His confidence and insistence on using unconventional tactics stood in sharp contrast to the calm, measured approach of the judge. This confrontation served as a real-world example of what happens when fantasy meets law. The sovereign citizen arguments, while compelling to those who follow them online, hold no weight when presented in an actual courtroom. The attempt to use lowercase letters, special deposits, and other pseudo-legal maneuvers highlighted a common pattern seen in these types of cases. Individuals, convinced of their own immunity, often spend more energy crafting elaborate arguments than addressing the real charges they face. In Harrison's case, these tactics not only failed to protect him, they made his situation more complicated and drew more attention to his refusal to comply with legal norms. The hearing also served as a broader lesson on the nature of law itself. Legal systems are built on rules, procedures, and evidence, not belief or creativity. Personal interpretations, no matter how confident or persistent, cannot override the law. Harrison's case demonstrated how steadfast adherence to factual legal procedures is what ultimately determines outcomes, not clever wording or imagined loopholes. As the courtroom proceedings unfolded, it became increasingly evident that no amount of argument could change the inevitable. The charges were clear, the law was clear, and the judge was clear. Harrison's refusal to engage with reality highlighted the absurdity of relying on sovereign citizen tactics. Each claim he made that he was exempt from the law only reinforced the power of the legal system and the futility of attempting to manipulate it. In the end, the courtroom confrontation between Harrison Lemon Bay and Judge Perkins illustrated a universal truth: the law operates on facts and established procedures, not belief or clever tricks. Harrison's creative arguments, while dramatic and attention-grabbing, had no impact on the legal outcome. His insistence on unconventional tactics served to emphasize the critical importance of respecting the court, understanding the law, and recognizing that personal interpretations cannot replace the legal process. This case is a vivid reminder of the limits of sovereign citizen ideology. Lowercase names, special deposits, and pseudo-legal arguments are powerless in the face of evidence and established legal principles. The law does not bend for belief or fantasy. Harrison's experience shows that real-world consequences follow those who ignore or attempt to circumvent legal authority. The courtroom, filled with tension and drama, ultimately became a lesson in reality over fantasy. Harrison's arguments, though delivered with confidence and intensity, crumbled when met with calm logic and legal expertise. The hearing demonstrated that no amount of confidence or imagination can overcome the structure, rules, and authority of the legal system. By the end of the proceedings, it was clear that the jury trial would be determined solely by facts, evidence, and legal reasoning. Harrison Lemon Bay's tactics, while bold, had no impact on the course of justice. The courtroom drama served as a powerful example of why belief cannot replace law, and why adherence to legal procedures is essential for everyone, regardless of personal conviction or online theories.